Hey, welcome to Manifestation, Manifesting with Ari Mack. I'm your host, Ari McIntyre. Now, we're coming to you live, both here on my YouTube channel, so thank you for joining me, and on my TikTok channel. Hi! So tickled you guys are here. The thing about manifesting, okay, you have to understand how the planets and signs are all aligned for you to manifest perfectly. When I say perfectly, that's when you get more consistent about how you handle things, about how you interact with people. Therefore, you can actually draw more people to yourself. Now, we just happen to be in Libra cycle. Okay. Now, Libra rules Venus, it shares Venus with Taurus. Okay. So, basically, in a nutshell, okay, Venus is ruling the partnership, the air aspect of it. It's more the intellectual sides of it. Libra rules fairness, relationship, justice. It's ruled by the planet Venus. It's an air sign. It's considered cardinal, which means it doesn't stop. It continues to always move forward because it just doesn't know how to just sit and be still. Okay. Um, and Venus is how we love. It's how we fall in love, how we see ourselves in love, how we dream about love. And Mars is the actions that we take when we're in love. I don't know if you guys remember a book a long time ago called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I don't know if you remember that, but that book was very accurate because it talked about how the different parts of the different relationships affect us. Because we do have a certain balance with the universe that we have to adhere to. You can't ignore it. You cannot act like it's not happening because that's just not going to work. Okay. So when I look at Libra, because it's ruling right now, we have Mercury in Libra, we have Mars in Libra, and we have the Sun in Libra. So we have three prominent planets in Libra right now. Okay. So this is about partnerships. And if you're looking for love or want to be in love or want to be in a partnerships, then this is the time when you should consider like what kind of partner do you want to be? Like what kind of relationship are you trying to manifest? Okay. Now, some of the things I've learned over the years with the teachings and the astrology that I've studied, you have to know yourself before you can start a partnerships. That's why a lot of people end up falling in love like at work. If you ever noticed, a lot of people start relationships in their workspace. Well, the reason being is that after a period of time, when you're there with somebody, regardless of whether or not you liked them or didn't like them, you get to know them. You get to know them. And a part of the relationship, be it professional, business, romance, whatever the case is that you do need to observe your partner so you can see what it is that you do love about them. Okay. Because there are aspects that may remind you of other things that you can't share with people. Okay. You really can't give people all the information up front. It's something you have to learn it. You have to experience it. So, for example, in a business relationship, you always want people who understand your workflow, right? How you interact, how you talk, how you communicate. Because if you don't have, okay, good communications in any relationship, you can forget about it. You can forget about it because you got to have trust that the person is telling you the truth. I mean, you can't keep validating everything all the time, right? And when it comes to matters of the heart, that's when we as human beings completely lose our mind because we want to be in love so much, so badly, that we may overlook people's bad behavior because we're trying to say, oh, they won't do this to me. Oh, they won't act like that toward me. And they possibly will. So when I look at someone's chart, right, and they're talking about they want to be in love, they want to be in love, they want to be in love, I always ask, what kind of love are you looking for? Do you know what a partnership should bring you? Right? Does a partner make you whole? It should make you balanced. You shouldn't feel like everything is given to your partner. I remember seeing this show called Love at First Sight. I married at first sight. I didn't watch a lot of it, but the energy, guys, that I kept seeing from that show, I thought that one of the coaches that was supposed to be helping the couples, I thought she was in love with one of the grooms. I was right. She ended up getting kicked off the show, the coach did, and ended up marrying one of the grooms that was she's supposed to be helping. Because I could see the energy between them. It wasn't like her helping him, it was like her helping him. Okay. And I just thought to myself, ooh, sucky, sucky. But that's what Libra brings. You want that kind of partnership, you want that kind of balance. Now, when I look at someone's chart, I always look at where their Venuses are. Why? Because Venus is going to tell you how you love. All right. For example, Venus in an Aries sign. Well, Venus normally rules Taurus and Libra. So it likes that beauty, that balance. Venus is all about looking aesthetically beautiful, not being coarse, not causing friction. Beauty does not like to stress, just so you know. Hey now, how you doing? Who is Brittany? Hey, Brittany. So when you are falling in love, you got to look at where your Venus is so you can manifest what you're asking for. If your Venus happens to be in Aries, that's fire in a love sign. Okay. So that means you want action, or you will initiate, or you want to see that they care. You want to accept they talk. Venus in Aries is a tough sign. I mean, Venus in any of the fire signs can be tough because the fire signs initiate. Remember, fire initiates. That's a Leo, that's Aries, and that's Sagittarius. They're not the type that's going to just sit back and see what happened. They want to know. They want you to share. Let's go. That's what fire is about, and we need that to initiate, right? I mean, because without fire, can't see, can't eat. We need it. But with Venus, right? Because it's the love sign, it wants you to, show your initiation by bringing them flowers, by making them dinner, by massaging their feet, or paying attention to the nuances of the things that they like. Now, I have a couple that I just adore. They've been my friends for forever. And the thing that I loved about them from the beginning when I met them is that whenever she needed something, she literally would say, "Babe, I think and he would immediately hear her, no matter where they were, you guys, and reach for whatever she wanted." I remember one night I had spent the night over the house because we were working on a project together. And in the morning, he got up, he made her coffee, he made her some oatmeal, and he made her some toast. But the thing I liked about what he did is that he made it, but he was prepped because she didn't like her food becoming, stale or soggy or sad. So he had everything on the counter ready until she made an appearance. And I watched him. I watched him. And as soon as my friend came in and she was talking, he handed her a fresh cup of coffee he just made for her, one scoop of sugar, one dash cream. And then he asked her, "Let me know when you're ready for your oatmeal, my lady, and I'll make it for you." And she says, "Thank you, love." Now, this is natural. They were just being their natural selves. They were not putting on any act. They weren't trying to convince me anything. I was just observant because I knew where her Venus was and I knew where his Mars was. And it just kicked because there are certain things in astrology that just they don't miss. If you have certain things in your chart, y'all are going to fall in love. Now, how you act in love is a whole different thing, but there are certain things that take place, and they verified that for me because the energy that they put out was genuinely caring toward one another. And even to this good day, they've moved away, so I don't get a chance to see him as much, but I went to see them this summer. And, he's gotten a little bit more challenging. He has a couple of things going on health wise, and still, she's sitting there saying, "What would you like for dinner?" And he said, "Well, I don't want to make you do too much." And she's like, "It's okay." And he told her what she wanted. And she was talking to me because I was visiting. And the whole time she was on the phone looking for a restaurant or whatever she was to figure out what to get him for dinner because we were there and she was already cooking one thing and he wanted something else. That's what Venus brings you, a partnership that's not just on paper and you're not just stressed out, right? Like you're around this person, you guys are seasoned, you guys connect, and you want to talk. Now, in a business relationship, okay, especially when there's money involved, it's really important that you do have that love and respect. And I say love because when you love something, you treat it better. But see, Venus also evokes passion. And passion is something you can't really bottle. You can't really control passion. You can't tell passion when to show up and when not to show up. That's not the way passion works. Okay. Passion works based on your lightness, your joy, your happiness, and your genuine sincerity that you want to do what you're saying you want to do. Now, with Venus, when you're falling in love, you got to remember you may be falling in love in one aspect. I think the term puppy love is so appropriate, a lot of love when you're in your teens. I'm not saying it can't grow into more deeper love, but I do know that when you start out and you're just getting to know yourself, everything counts. From them opening your door to them looking at you, the way they speak to you, that they notice you, all these things make up for every single butterfly in your stomach. And we as humans can't even depict how simple things like a smile or him or her doing something special for you. But as you grow and you mature, you're going to find that you need a little bit more conversation, a little bit more understanding, and more importantly, you guys need to be on the same page. Okay, you need to be willing to understand your partner's point of view because one of the worst things that I see is that people think their partner should not have had a life before them. I don't even know how that's possible. I have male clients who feel like their partner should damn near been a virgin before they met them, which is not possible. Now, it's okay to get jealous of a previous relationship, especially if there's marriage and children involved, or just children or extra activities. Say, for example, you have family, you're related, or you're in the same circle. But in general, when it comes to love, you want a partner that you can talk to each other and share with one another the most intimate parts of your life that normally you wouldn't share with anybody else. And as your partnership grows, so I'm gonna talk about romance first, and then I'll go into, um, hey, Miss Skittles. No, you know you are more beautiful every day. Oh, thank you, Jerry. Appreciate that. Oh, thank you for the gift, my lady. But when you're talking about romantic love, okay, romantic love, that's somebody showing you in their own special way that they're feeling you. Now, one of the sweetest things I remember that my ex husband did was he took me on a 12-hour date. Okay. Now, he didn't organize this, he didn't set it up. He just asked me how much time that I have to spend. And I was new to California at this time. So he took it upon himself to show me all of California. I mean, literally, he drove me from Orange County to LA County. I mean, and up the coast. I mean, we went everywhere that day. It didn't cost him anything but time. But me being a new person to the city, I took that to mean the world. Because for somebody to take the time and literally supervise me through the ups and downs of this beautiful, beautiful city, beautiful state, I appreciate it. And he was a total gentleman, total sweet. Well, his Venus is in Libra. Okay. My Venus is in Aries. So basically, we were mated in a sense because, I was just telling him what I wanted. And his partnership, the Libra part of him, Venus being in a natural position of Libra, loved it. Okay. Loved it. And we got along swimmingly, but we were honest with each other. We were talking out our differences because nobody's perfect, you guys. Nobody's perfect. But in a business relationship, okay, and sometimes love does come through business. That's why a lot of people fall in love with people at work. Have you ever noticed that? I know they have rules against it. I know they always like, oh, you can't fraternize, you can't do this. How you gonna tell adult people who are smelling good, looking good, maybe haven't went out for a long time, and maybe checking out that, let's just say Rhonda has lost weight and put herself together better, or let's just say Ronald has beefed up and is looking more confident, because you can't control those chemical reactions. You can't control it. You can try. You can get all badass about what you're going to do and how somebody's going to do something, but the truth of the matter is, if somebody doesn't reciprocate your love, it hurts. That's the truth. You may not like to hear that. You may think, oh, I'll get over it, I don't care. No, it hurts. When you're starting a relationship, nobody goes into a relationship for it to fail. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, did you ever start a relationship with the intent on it failing? Answer in the chat. I don't think anybody ever has. Not consciously, maybe subconsciously, because of circumstances you may end up being with somebody. Thank you, Miss Chocolate. No, because when it comes down to it, if you are interested in someone, especially on a romantic level, you're seeing more than just their outer. You're seeing something on their inner. Okay. Now, when Venus is in an air sign, let's just say Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra itself, it's more intellectual about love. They will talk and discuss, and they probably read a lot of romantic novels, probably have a lot of ideas about chivalry and showing up and sweeping you off your feet because they're romantics. Air signs are usually very, very romantic in the sense that, they want the beauty, they want the movie. At the end of the movie when they sweep you off your feet and y'all go off into the sunrise, that's what the air sign likes. They like that. All signs like it, but air signs especially. Now, fire signs, they want to get married and bed you. They want to put their mark on you. They claim it. What's mine? Boom. Yeah. Because also with the other thing about the fire signs, they usually don't share. They're very territorial. That animal instinct in them is pretty. It's pretty clear. I mean, because Leo's a lion, and Sag is a half animal, half human, and then Aries is like the ram. So they are animals when it comes to their love. Okay, fire signs will go after you, they will mate with you, and they have no problems sharing their emotions. Now, with the water signs, if you happen to have your Venus in Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, whew, well, let's just say you're an emotional little bag there. You need to see and feel what's happening. You want confirmation that the person feels the same way you do. Because energetically speaking, you're picking up on the emotions behind their intent. Now, you may not be able to validate all of it, but you can feel what this person is thinking. And that's kind of scary when you start off a new partnership. I'm going to be honest with you. Not everybody can handle that, right? Right, Skittles? Because, to be overwhelmed with somebody else's emotions and you're trying to deal with yours, it's a lot. It's not always the easiest enchilada to take. All right. Because you're processing what you're feeling. And then all of a sudden you get hit with this person's nectar of not only physically liking you, but also emotionally wanting to be with you. Where water signs, when you have the Venus in the water sign, baby, 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 they will pick up on that energy faster. And let's just say a water sign Venus, let's just go Cancer. With the water sign Cancer, Venus being in a water sign, they're going to probably bring you some food. They're probably going to spruce up their look a little bit. Cancer rules the chest, so usually Cancerians have beautiful chest features. The guys are very chiseled when they're in shape. The women have usually beautiful buttock cleavage area, and as they should, because they're like the crabbies. They're like the mommies of everyone. Now, if you decide to put Venus in an earth sign, let's go Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, they're going to be a little bit more structured. Yeah, they're going to make Venus work for it. Yeah, that position, even if they love you, they care about you, they're going to want some physical confirmation that you feel the same way. A lot of the Capricorn people with Venus in Capricorn usually prefer to deal with more mature people, meaning they prefer to deal with a partner who is a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more of an expert, and may have more experience in them and could be older than them. A lot of times, that position does open the door for your partner, for their partners to be 1 to 2 years older than them or more, depending on what their needs are. Because that's the thing with the earth wants that physical, tangible, and it has no problems receiving financial blessings, tangible blessings. I think about that song by Sheila E. Glamorous Life, love would only come through my hand. I mean, that is a earth sign Venus. That is a classic of how they feel. It's not that they don't love you, but if you buy them something, give them something, take them somewhere, that goes a long way. So if you happen to be interested in someone who has a Venus in Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, make sure you're doing something physical with them. And even if they act a little nervous, because the other part of that is they need reassurance, just keep being yourself. The consistency with earth signs usually wins out because they want to know it's true, right? They're like the fact checkers. They're like okay, what does that mean? And actually look at the physical lay of the land. Okay. Now, earth, water, fire, air. I think I've got all of them there. Yeah. Let me know if I missed one. Okay, guys, because I did the earth. We just did that one. I did the fire. I did the air. And I did the water. Now, the thing about the Venus is once you figure out how you love, right? You figure out how you fall in love, how you extend love. You can master yourself because you'll know what you're looking for, right? You won't be so nilly nilly just running around to see who's who. You would actually be initiating, let's just say you're looking for a sensitive man, a man that's had some experiences, maybe has finished college or is in his career. Okay. These are things we don't think about beforehand. And I say sometimes love is like going to the grocery store. You need to know what you're shopping for because there's a lot of things on the market. Okay. There's a lot of different things to get. Let's go with spices, for example. I prefer a certain line of spices that's from another country because I find them to be fresher. Some people don't care. I got friends who do not care what they buy on spices. It could be at the 99-cent store, it could be at the regular grocery store. That ain't me because I know the fresher the better. And if you catch something early, you'll probably get a chance to get the best quality out of it, right? So I know from my personal experience that I don't do well with inferior things, and that includes men. Okay. I do not work well with men who have negative attitudes, who are not very giving, kind of stuck in the mud, and who do not believe in what I do and who I am. How can I have a relationship with someone who doesn't see me as a partner? And I'm going to ask you the same. How can you have a relationship in good conscience with someone who does not view you as a partner? Just think about that for a second. You could be as nice as you want to be, sweet as you want to be, giving as you can possibly be. But if the person does not see you as their partner, it's a horrible thing. And I'll tell you a story. One of my clients' daughter was dating a gentleman here for about 2 years. 2 years. They just got out of college. They young and in their mid 20s. The gentleman got a job in another state. And he said, well, I'm going to move to the state, but we can date long distance. Now, he said, I am moving to another state. He did not say we. He said I. I caught that as soon as my client told me what her daughter said. She volunteered to go with him. All right. She actually uh, changed jobs or took a remote job, you name it, and moved to the state with him. Now, that was her own choice, you guys. Nobody put a gun to her head. The man didn't promise her the star and the moons. She wanted to be with him. So she decided to follow him. Okay. All right. So they're there about 6 months or so, and things are going well. She's trying to cook and clean and do the whole nesting thing like they're in a relationship. But he's distant, she says. He's kind of cool, kind of casual, because whatever he does, he's working with groups of people. So one night, he says he's working late with the group, not individually, and she decides to stop by. As she's going in, there's another young lady there that he's talking to, and he's not physically assaulting her, but he's very close to her while they're talking, which sends my client's daughter into a tailspin because she can't figure out, what is this girl coming on to him? Is she trying to get him? You know the routine. She takes him to the side, or she introduces herself to the lady, and the lady says, oh, I've heard a lot about you, blah, blah, blah. Cool. They go home that night. And she starts, going off on the dude. How dare you? You're sitting next to this girl. That's a bunch of bullshit. You want to do her? And the gentleman says to her, I like her. I do. I am attracted to her. And she's like losing it, you guys. I'm talking losing it. You hear me? She is having a fit. What do you mean you like her? What do you mean you want to be with her? Now, he was being honest. He said, I'm not saying I want to sleep with her. I'm saying that I enjoy talking to her. We have a lot in common. There's things I can talk to her about work that I can't speak to you about. And it's just refreshing to have somebody that knows what I'm saying. That's a big one, you guys. That is a big one. Because he wasn't physically cheating on her, but he was emotionally cheating on her, in her opinion. And I had to go with that because he was in a relationship with her and they were living together. So he suggested that they take a break. Now, how are you going to take a break when you move to another city to be with the person? They came up with the answer. They would, there was a 2-bedroom. They moved to a 2-bedroom. One was an office, that he would move into the office area and that she would stay in the bedroom, and they would just try to, kind of do their own thing. go their own way. They'd still have dinner together, they'd still be friends. He just didn't want her to feel pressured like he was cheating on her, and he wanted her to go out and make new friends. Well, let's just say it got weirder because all of a sudden he did not have a problem staying in that room, you guys. He was comfortable in that room to the point where he told her that she may want to consider, you know, moving on. Now, she was devastated by this information because she was completely in love with him and was ready to commit her whole life to him. But he was not feeling the same. And it broke her. She was shattered into a million pieces. And I remember having a discussion with her mother. And her mother said she made these sacrifices for him and she moved and she did all these things. And I said, but did he ask her to move with him? Did he say, baby, I want you to move with me? And her mother had to admit that the daughter encouraged the move by saying they could save money by her being a roommate. These words came out of her mouth. Now, of course, it sounded logical. He was moving to another city. He didn't want to be by himself. So it fit, but it didn't really fit because they didn't move because they were ready to be a couple. They moved because he got a job in another city and she wanted to continue to date him. And even though they were living in the same house, later she explained that he was still very separate. He kept his phone with the code that he didn't share. Red flag. He didn't always tell her where he was coming and going. He just give her an overall view, you know, things like that. And though she had trackers on his phone, because I know people do that, I get it, he still wouldn't necessarily disclose where and why and who he was with. So ultimately, her daughter had to deal with a rejection that I felt like, you know, he wasn't trying to be harsh with her and he wasn't trying to be mean, but the other person that came into his life, they just fit better, right? They got along better. And they never had any intimacy. That was the thing he told her. There was no intimacy. But the fact that he liked somebody else made him believe that maybe he wasn't in love with her. Anybody can relate to that? I gotta get some water. So. Are you drinking your water? I'm telling you, that cool, refreshing drink, man. Look at my skin. This is water. I drink a lot of water every day to make sure I'm hydrated. Okay. My client's daughter had to learn that she made the choice to be with him. He did not hurt her. He did not undermine her. Hell, he didn't even lie to her. He didn't. It just didn't work out the way she planned because once they got there and was playing house and there was nobody else around, he didn't want to be a part of that structure. And it hurt. Now, I'm happy to say this was a year ago and she has since dated and the gentleman has since married. And she realizes now that it was the better choice. That if she'd stayed with him, she would have had to give up something of herself because she realized in order to be with him, she was trying to cater to him. And that's where you got to look at your Venus. Okay. She was trying to fit into his world, but he wasn't trying to fit into hers. So when you're falling in love, when you're looking at partnerships, what kind of partnership do you need? Because we're in this season now. You know, the universe has this lovely way with astrology of giving us themes month, every month. Now, this month is partnerships. We're in Libra. Last month it was Virgo. So it was having you look at the details of what was going on around you. That wasn't an accident. So now you're looking at partnerships, both professional, both romantic. And let's talk about relationships with the family. Because those are relationships you don't have a choice. You kind of born into that. Okay. And I personally think, like, for example, with me, I thought my brother was sent to kill me or I was sent to kill him. I wasn't sure because as children, because he was a sun sign Aries, he just loved taking my bottle, taking my stuff. And here's the thing, he would take my bottle and then put it back empty, letting my mom to believe that I was full. So then when I'd be squawking, she'd be like, what is the problem? And he'd just sit there smiling. Now, because of him, I had to learn to fight at a young age, both mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. But it actually has made me a better person. Now, who in your family What relationship in your family, cousin, auntie, uncle, helps shape who you are right now? You always have those one, two, three moments in your life where people come through and they have a huge impact. Now, my brother was that immediately. The bigger picture was my grandmother, and she was a sun sign Taurus. I actually did her chart later and I figured out some things about her as well. But she was the staple of the whole family. She was like the center, and we all paid our respects. We all revered her because of the work she did and because of the love she had for her children. And she told me nuggets of information that I think about now. Like, I've never asked any of her kids to stay, and she's never told any of her kids to go. Got to tell you, that tripped me out as a kid. I'm like, so what does that mean? Do I stay? Do I go? Do you like me? I mean, what the fudge, right? Or you always have to, what did she say? Never argue with a jackass, because a jackass is not going to let you win. That was a good one. I have to tell you, that saved me a lot of aggravation, both professionally and personally. Because once someone is no longer listening to you, no matter what point you make, you can stop. It's futile to sit there and try to argue with the wall. The wall ain't listening. It's just wasting your time. But I remember her very distinctly sitting down with me, reading the Bible with me, giving me passages, because she would say spiritual spirit is inside of you. It's not at a church. It's not at an organization. It has to be within you, and you day to day represent what spiritual constitution you have within yourself. And I remember that distinctly because she said, you can go to church with nothing on and still be the best of the best. She would tell me how Jesus Christ would walk around talking to the pimps and the prostitutes and the low, what they considered low forms of life. And he would sit there and hold conversations with them. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And when I hear stories like that, there's no way I could judge anyone because I don't know where they've come from, right? You don't know where they've been. You don't know the life that they've led. All you know is what you see in front of you, which can be very limited, people. It's one of the reasons why I love the internet. I love the streaming. I love the connection because I don't even watch mainstream TV anymore. Maybe a couple of things here and there, but for the most part, I'm online getting my information and assessing what I think is going down. I don't really look for other people to tell me. I just kind of scroll through and make my assumptions based on the basic information I found. And if I want to verify, I'll spend a little bit more time on that. But learning how to be a partner, learning how to manifest a partner, man, that's the trick of all tricks. Because you can't manifest the partner without being a partner. So you have to be the partner that you're asking for. That's the little trick. That's a nugget. I hope you take that away from manifesting. You want somebody that's rich and handsome and successful and has all the time in the world, that is intuitive and all these beautiful things. And I think that's where motion pictures and television has really got our expectations reveled on high, because we see the well-written story of what romance should be like, right? You see this in 30 minutes, how they don't like each other, get into an argument, get into a snow fight, end up someplace where they have to take a bath together, and boom, they're in love, right? Those are the classic things we see all the time on TV and motion pictures. But in real life, does it happen that way? See, I think the pandemic showed us that we can follow love in a lot of different ways. And that starts with our intellect. I know several couples who got married during the pandemic and are still going strong today. But they spent time talking to one another. Now they also, let me say this, physically knew each other prior to the pandemic. So I'm put that disclaimer out so I'm very clear that they knew physically who they were. So they spent time during the pandemic mentally getting to know each other. Okay, let me put that emphasis, because the mental part of the relationship, that's the priceless part, guys. That's the part you can't see. Does the person know how to listen for the inflections in your voice? Do you know how to listen for the inflections in somebody else's voice? Hell, do you even know what an inflection is? So when you're looking at partnerships, I would start off with your earliest partnership that you deem successful, be it family, friends, home, work, doesn't matter. Because that relationship set the bar for how you perceive relationships to be, like what you're expecting from the other people in your life. All right. And if you think about it, like for me, having a brother that was very aggressive, I'm used to a partner that initiates, that talks to me, that does things for me. Like I told you, my ex, a 12-hour date, you guys. The first time he took me out, we started at 10. I didn't get home till way past 10 or 12 o'clock that night. And he didn't do anything wrong. Everything was perfect because we were in that flow of getting to know each other. And I really, really liked him. And, subsequently married him and had a child. Okay. But the thing about the Venus partnerships is it's not just falling in love or building the partnership, but it's building on that partnership. Yeah, creating a loving environment that you guys can use to grow and to nestle not only yourselves but your family and your friends and those who love you. Like they can come around you, like my friends. I told you, my couple friends, who it's a joy to be in their presence because they truly, truly love each other. And more importantly, they don't make me feel weird. You ever been around couples that make you feel uncomfortable and you can't put your finger on it? Well, that's because they have their own thing happening and they're not sharing with you. And as a person on the outside, it just makes you feel a little uncomfortable, right? Now, when you're with a couple who are solid, they are in sync. It's in balance. You really can't say something to one and the other doesn't hear it, or the other hears it and does it chimes in. I mean, it's an ebb and a flow, and that's what you want in your partnerships, right? Now, if you happen to have Venus in a water sign, that be it Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer, Pisces, you need that emotional connection. They need to make sure they're reassuring you of their feelings. Cancer, you want them to make sure they have some securities, like they have a little love. Hey, Dancer, they have something to make you feel secured. And Scorpio does not share. Scorpio says mine, period, done deal. Now, your Venus happens to be in a fire sign, be it a Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries, well, Sag Venus wants freedom. They want to be in love, but you have to leave the door open because Sag just likes to come and go. They're not going to go anywhere. But if you tell them they can't do something, that's exactly what they're going to do. Now, Venus and Leo, they just need you to stand beside them proud. I mean, when they initiate taking you someplace, go. Because they don't go places to go places. They go places to look good. Now, Venus and Aries, now those are some selfish little twits. I'm going to tell you right now, they're aggressive. I know, okay? Because my Venus is sitting in that position. You want what you want, and your partner better unass it. Right, Sag Venus? Because I'm just saying, when you have that kind of fire and you put it in that lovely sign of Venus, it just takes all the little nuances out. That fire is aggressive. It's let's go, let's do it. And please don't be mad at me, Venus and fire signs. But y'all some funny creatures. Now, Venus in an air sign, be it Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, they don't talk. They're going to spend some time intellectually understand. Like, what? You say what? You like what? What does that mean? Because they want to make sure your head is in the right place. I mean, they're that surgical ones. They go in to try to see, if you got some Freudian slips, or maybe you're putting on some fronts, or maybe you're not as good as you say you are. Okay. Now, Venus in an earth sign, that's that Taurus, that Virgo, and that Capricorn. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Venus and Capricorn, they need you to initiate something. You need to give them something physical for them to have. Venus and Taurus, make it pretty. Whatever they do, whatever you bring to the table, it's the best position for Venus to be in. You better come correct. Venus and Virgo, listen to their pickiness. They're very meticulous. My father had a Venus and Virgo. He drove my ass crazy, but he was the best at what he could be. I mean, he was meticulous as can be, but you know what? He nailed it every single time. And I have to say, now I'm going to go back to Venus in the air sign, because I didn't give each sign a little note as to how they are. Venus in Gemini, they usually need a lot of stimulation, if not multiple partners. It's the truth because they just want the variety. They don't have to do it, but they may want to do it. They're really flirtatious, though. They get in trouble just with their flirting behavior. Venus in Libra just wants it to be pretty. They really don't want it coarse. They really don't want people acting up. They just want it to be nice and everybody get along. Okay. Venus in Aquarius, now y'all just weird. Oh, thank you, Missy Dad. Appreciate it. Mwah. Venus in Aquarius, y'all just weird. I have so many clients with Venus in Aquarius. They're weird, you guys. They're love muffins. They could be very sweet, very thoughtful, but they disconnect from you. Like when you're not with them, their minds are elsewhere. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever saw Star Trek, any of the versions. They're the Spock of the Venus situation, where you know how every 7 years Spock goes off and has to get some. Like he literally goes off. I mean, like go off the radar. Like he'll kill somebody if he don't get none. You understand? That's Venus and Aquarius. They can be very detached, very like, oh, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And when you least expect it, because they rule the unexpected, all right, you're on the floor rolling around with them. And you didn't even think they liked you that much. I happen to love them because I think it's fun. But with the Venus in Aquarius, you can expect a roller coaster until you get to the core of what they want from you. They will set up situations where you have to be in their circle. You have to be around them. Okay. And they need that kind of stimulation. Aquariuses are known for their unorthodox behavior, and they do march to their own beat. They do rule humanity, and they are some weird kittens sometimes. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying they could be a little different. But when you have the Venus in that position and you know that about yourself, you can ask and laugh a little bit more and not be so upset all the time and mad at yourself because you may need stimulation. So, Venus and Aquarius would have to take you to an amusement park or someplace where there's a lot of stimulation because their idea of dating is also seeing how you are with unexpected surprises because they rule unexpected surprises. So why not put you in the hot seat and kind of sit back and watch it cook? Yes, you're right. I would. I would enjoy that. But I got some Mercury Aquarius thing happening, but that's just me. The bottom line, when you look at manifesting and you look at partnerships, which is what you should be looking at right now, the sun just tiptoed into Libra. Happy birthday to all my Librans. Okay. You are the beauty of all the signs. You have that Venus influence. You don't like coarse. You are very sweet, but you can be a bitch too. You will stand your ground and you will tell somebody where to take it because you can be very argumentative. Oh, thank you, Missy Bed. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It actually can be quite beautiful if you know thyself. So as we're going into this partnership cycle right before the holidays, see where you can make maybe a new friend or bring in some nice people or just how about just get to know somebody that you find interesting. I had a client take my birthday information and send me a picture of what my mate is supposed to be like. So I'm like really, really curious because I'm gonna keep that picture and I'm gonna put it in the back burner and I'm gonna see what the universe brings to me. Okay. And it's that kind of stuff that keeps you open. It keeps you excited. It keeps you interested. Because guys, when you're closed off and you're not interesting and you're not fun and you kind of make people feel like, they should run the other way, that's not going to attract a good partner. And that is at work, that is at home, that is at church. I mean, I know people at church that still show their ass. You know what I mean? So that's not a one size fit all. That's a universal. You have to decide, do you want to be open? Do you want to allow people into your life that could bring you more joy than you ever imagined or help you learn something that you didn't see? Nothing happens accidentally, but it all starts with your thoughts. That's why your affirmations are so important. Now, I've created a program, and you guys can follow me, subscribe, and like. Okay. And this program gives you that extra little, that forecast, okay, every single week to give you a heads up as to what you're trying to make happen. Now, I also have aromatherapy candles, and each one of those candles has an affirmation on it that works. Because when you're affirming stuff, when you're actually saying positive thoughts, you're creating nuances, neurons in your brain. Okay, I'm doing a report on it. It's going to be on the Candles by Ari. It's a free report. Just what happens when affirmations are used consistently. Now, I'm a true believer, and I have witnessed myself, thank you, Miss Chocolate, of people who affirm for negative, and I've watched them, and they've said some pretty nasty, gnarly things to me and in front of me, and I do my best to pray for them and wish them well, and then they create it, you guys. The very thing they said they didn't like, what they hated the most, blah, blah, blah. That's exactly what they bring into their house. While another person who's maybe been in a bad relationship, maybe has been abused in a relationship, they actually affirm to get better. And guess what, you guys? They stop bringing in that negativity. They stop looking at somebody that has traits that they know aren't good for them. It's like they learn their lessons that I can't go backwards. I have to move forward because nobody's making you go backwards. Even if you like someone, even if you care for someone, if they're showing you traits that have been toxic to you, you have to own that because that's your red flag. It's like the universe tells us, if you really stop and listen to yourself, which is what I promote, listening to the inside, you won't be worried about the outside. Even if you don't agree with people, it doesn't matter. You don't sit there harboring this ill will, like I'm just going to hurt you and I hate. No, we just have a difference of opinion. I see your point. I don't agree. You see my point. You don't agree with me. Cool. You leave it alone unless it's just something professional you guys have to work out. Well, in a partnership, that's something you have to do on a regular basis because life is in the ebb and flow. You may get up in the morning, everything's great, and by the end of the day, you may have a whole different set of circumstances going on around you. That's how quickly our lives are moving and changing. So you want a partnership, both professionally, personally, and with your family and friends that nurtures you, that makes you feel good when you leave them. You know, it's not something where you feel horrible when you have to go interact with them. Like literally, you run the other way. Oh, thank you, Miss Chocolate. Yes, the candles are the bomb. I love them too. And that's why I created these products and services, guys. Because over the years, I've seen how effective it can be when you're really being true to yourself and how to honor yourself so that you can look in that mirror and know, yeah, I'm doing pretty damn good. And I'm going to tell you something that's really sexy, ain't no lie, confidence. I'm going to tell you right now, you do not want to be around or be with somebody who lacks confidence. Why? Because they're not going to turn you on. Eventually, you're trying to encourage them and trying to get them to do something and trying to, support them. And no, because you're going to need the same energy back. And if it's not being reciprocated, I know there's a thing called the heroes love. And that's where somebody comes in and their partner's sick or needy and and they're on the spot to take care of them. Nothing wrong with that. But you're not always going to be in crisis, or you shouldn't always be in a crisis, because when the crisis is over, then you guys should be in honeymoon land, moving up to the next level of romance and building a life together, right? Well, if you came from a place where you and this person were only together because of the crisis that was going on around them, whatever it is, medical, mental, spiritual, family, whatever, once that crisis is healed, they may not be the same person. You may not be the same person because crisis is supposed to make us stronger, stronger in our faith, stronger in our belief, and stronger in our confidence. So when I say you want a confident person, that's a person that's sexy, you guys. That's a person who, when they walk in the room, they're not looking down, they're looking up. That's a person when they look at you and they see you, they beam because it's you. And that's all they know. My favorite couple, one of my dearest friends, I can feel the electricity between them in the room. They just, mm, they just have the hots for each other. That's the best way I can describe it. They've been married for 20 some odd years. And she told me when she met him, she knew he was the one for her, but she didn't say anything. She let it stand because she was a mother and she had kids. And he told me, because I had to ask because I'm nosy. He told me that when she said that she could cook him a meal, and she did, and he came over and ate that meal, and he went home, he knew she was the one because no one had ever stopped and took his dietary stuff into consideration and cooked for her and cooked for him. Now, I thought it was cute because I had to ask him, what was the turning point in your relationship? What was it that, boom, you just had to be together? That was it. And he said it was Christmas and she didn't have a Christmas tree, and she was worried about getting stuff for the kids because she had two or three kids at this time. And he decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go buy her a Christmas tree, and I'm going to buy gift cards, and I'm just going to go over to her house and surprise her. And he did. And she said that was the best Christmas they ever had in their entire lives because he did it out of love, you guys. He went and bought a Christmas tree and decorated it. He bought a bunch of gift cards and gave them to him because he didn't know what to buy them. He's like, I don't know what to get you guys. And she told me at that moment, she knew that she was going to marry him. And he said he had an inclination that he would probably marry her because with the kids, the Christmas tree, and they showed me pictures and sitting around, it was magical. But he didn't plan it, you guys. He just did it. And that's what love does. Oh, thank you, Miss Yvette. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thanks for the hearts. Thank you guys here on YouTube as well. Appreciate. The point is, you want a loving partnership on all levels, professionally, emotionally, spiritually. You don't need an asshole. Okay. There's plenty of those around. So you can always get that. So don't worry about that. If you really need that, I assure you it will pop up. But to be in a relations, to connect with people who really appreciate your little nuances, your quirks, the things we're not so proud of ourselves. And ladies, let me just say this. If a man is showing you interest, don't beat yourself up and start looking at all your body parts that you don't like. And I hate it when women start jiggling their arms or start saying, oh, I look so bad. I assure you, if you get to the point where you guys are nude, very rarely, if ever, I've ever heard of a man leaving a woman with no clothes on by herself. I have not heard of it. And if you've heard of it, please put it in the chat. But I have never heard of a man who has a beautiful woman at his disposal, sitting right in front of him, say, you know what? I think I don't want that. Have you ever heard of that? I haven't. And I had a confirmation from my brother. Once again, the my family relationship that helped set me be the woman I am today. He said, we just need to know you love us, and you need to stop thinking we're thinking a bunch of different things because we're not. We're pretty simple, and women make it more complicated. And I always took that to heart. I always took that to heart. And like I said, with my couple, the two that I adore, and by the way, he's a Pisces and she's a Virgo, with they're the opposite signs. Either opposites work or they don't. And I'll talk about that more on another day. It's just a beautiful thing to see when it works, especially when they both want it and it's not contrived. It's not overstimulated. It's not pushed. It's just there. So my prayer for everyone that's watching this show and here's the rebroadcast later is put yourself first. Be a partner to you first. Be the best partner that you can to self. And ask the universe to draw your true, divinely selected mate to you based on that. You'll be very, 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 very happy. Very, very happy with someone who is flowing with you as opposed to someone who is not. And right now in this Libra season, just start thinking about what kind of partnerships do you want, and take a look at your Venus. You can always DM me, and if I can, I will answer if you have a quick question. But definitely follow, okay. Check out my other material. I got tons and tons of material on the net, so enjoy. There's a feast for your mind, and I'm available. Okay, there's classes coming up. I think we got meditation class this Sunday at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And we do have a library of meditation sessions. So that's something that's going to be coming up for the holidays. And I am going to be doing a special open house to answer more of your questions. It's going to be by invite. It's going to be on Zoom. I will have more information probably next week. So they will be set up by this time next week. And look for that. All right. And don't forget, you guys, you are blessed. Okay. I want to thank you for tuning in today. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Share with somebody that you know needs the love. And don't forget to check out my products and services. And stay blessed. Till next time. I'll see you next week. Bye.